As far as big parties go, the royals did a pretty good job with this one. The coronation of King Charles III was broadcast to millions of people in every corner of the globe, and the people there on the ground certainly made the most of it.
And it was just a very wonderful moment. In the moment I just felt really joyful and happy to see the King, because I'll probably never see him again, and just feel really happy.
But while there was plenty of pomp and pageantry, celebrities and celebrations, there were many people who didn't have a whole lot to celebrate. It's no secret that right now the world is facing a cost of living crisis. And in the UK, not far from the King's home at Buckingham Palace, it's quite a big deal.
People cannot afford to eat and heat. And it's not just one area now. Every area is exactly the same. Everybody is struggling.
Now, what does the cost of living have to do with the King's coronation? Well, there's one key word there: cost. It's estimated that the bill for this royal extravaganza was somewhere around 50 to 100 million pounds, or about 93 to 186 million Aussie dollars, which was paid for by the British public, and many weren't happy about it.
While we struggle to heat our homes, we have to pay for your parade.
Thank you for coming.
The taxpayer pays 100 million for you, and what for? Me from Brennan, not my king.
It begs the question, was it actually worth it, or should the money have been spent in some other way? Traditionally, coronations were a major step in the monarch's journey to becoming king or queen. It's a deeply religious event that takes place at Westminster Abbey in London, conducted by the Archbishop of Canterbury. There's a medieval oath, holy oil poured into a 12th century spoon, and a 700-year-old chair with a huge stone of destiny that supposedly roared when it recognised the rightful monarch. If it all sounds a bit old-fashioned and a little bit magical and mystical, that's because it is. The ceremony was created around 1,000 years ago, and the event hasn't really changed much since. But society has changed. A lot. Once upon a time, the royal family were an absolute monarchy, meaning they had control over everything. But in 1688, they became a constitutional monarchy, which means the royals stayed the head of state, but an elected parliament took charge of making laws and other governmenty decisions. It basically meant that the royals reign but do not rule, making their role mostly a symbolic one, which it remains as today. What doesn't remain today is the same level of public support for the monarchy. In 2012, 73% of more than 1,700 Brits surveyed said they wanted the monarchy to continue. A little over a decade later though, it's dropped to 58%. And most British people weren't actually that keen for King Charles's coronation, with a survey of more than 3,000 adults revealing that 35% didn't care very much and 29% didn't care at all.
I don't give a B, because the royal family ain't doing nothing for us.
The coronation actually wasn't even required by law, since King Charles officially became king days after the Queen's death last September at the Accession Council. So, if the coronation was a symbolic event for a mostly symbolic role that not many people are really caring about anymore, why did it go ahead? Well, there are people that say the coronation was an important event, because many people see the royal family as a staple of their national identity, that it helped boost the UK's credibility on the world stage, and united the country as a kind of social glue. Not to mention bringing in a whole lot of tourists who pumped millions of extra pounds into the local economy.
I came here from America, and it's just very exciting to me to be here.
It's just a reminder of a sign of hope through hard times.
I mean, it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
King Charles did reportedly request a scaled-back event to reflect the cost of living crisis. And it was a smaller event than that held for his predecessor, Queen Elizabeth II, in 1953. But despite that, some were offended by the scale and expense of the whole thing.
They're spending so much on a coronation. It just feels like a kick in the teeth.
The royal family are sitting on millions and millions of pounds. If he wants all this ceremony, why isn't he paying for it? We're paying for it, the taxpayers, at a time when people are really struggling to feed their children.
They're feeding the rich. and the poor are getting poorer, so it's all about them.
We don't need to be wasting money giving more of our resources to people who are already hereditary billionaires. Why is that a thing that we should be celebrating?
Many people are far more annoyed at the government than they are at their new king. But nevertheless, it's possible that we may not see a royal event of this scale ever again.